very good evening from wherever you're watching us from. This is Look Up Weekend. Happy new month. Welcome to the first day of September 2023. This is a Look Up Weekend and we've got lots lined up for you, from politics to the courts, sports and so much more. Before we get into it, here is what you can expect. Tonight on Look Up Weekend.
The system demand at that particular time was running at, was demanding 1,855.8 megawatts.
Delays in power purchase agreement affects power outages, says Energy CS Davis Chirchir as he explained last week's power outage. National dialogue between Kenya Kwanza and Azimio to prioritize electoral issues.
Only cars that will be allowed around here are cars that are dropping off passengers.
And no idling at NYAYO house, says Interior CS KINDIKI as government cracks down on passport brokers. Once more, welcome to the broadcast. I am Nancy Nalima. Our sign language interpreter for tonight is Felista Adundo. Do let us know where you're watching us from at Lookup Weekend, Lookuptv on Twitter, Lookuptv on Facebook, and Lookuptv on our YouTube channel. And I'll be sampling some of your feedback in the course of this broadcast. Let's begin. Energy Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir has recommended lifting the ban on the signing of power purchase agreements to enable his ministry to replace retiring power plants in the country that affect power outages. Appearing before the National Assembly Committee on Energy on Friday, Chirchir attributed the deficit of generation capacity required to meet the growing demand of power supply in the country to the stalling of signing the PPAs. The CS was appearing before the Energy Committee to respond to questions on what could have led to the national power outage on Friday last week, and whether Kenya is sliding into a load-shedding nation. Mevin Getembe now reports.
Energy Cabinet Secretary appeared before the National Assembly Committee to answer questions on the cause of the national power outage last week. Chirchir said the country's demand is full met as he asked for more time to ascertain who should take responsibility for an outage that led to losses across the country.
On 25th of August, honorable members, 23rd, 2023 at about 21:45 in the night. The country experienced a nationwide blackout on the electric power system. The system demand at that particular time was running at, was demanding 1,855.8 megawatts.
No, what is to be held accountable. With the people needs compensation. How do we start now pushing somebody to say it is so and so if they don't know? If if the CS says it needs 10 days to provide that information, I think it is only fair we allow him to come with the information, and we'll be here waiting. We will be here waiting, Bwana CS, because we do not want to generate invoices for people we don't know.
According to the Principal Secretary of the Ministry, Alex Mwashira, it took a long time before the restoration of electricity in the country, following the loss of more than 270 megawatts of steam, which caused problems in steam power system, a situation that affected most stations.
On the issue of the length of time it took to recover, the main issue here is that in the recovery process, once the entire grid has collapsed, the best way is to find a system that is up and then use it to recover the rest of the system. In the past, we have always used the Uganda line. That is when the rest of the Kenyan system has collapsed. Then we use the UETCL link, the UEB, which comes to Lesos, and then we recover the rest of the system. But when this happened, that was not available, so we had to start systems right from the scratch.
We've got about 50 engineers working from Suso together, from all the different plants. They work in their cohorts as Kengen, Ketraco. They work together to harmonize the data to identify what triggered first.
As the country prepares for tougher weather conditions, the ministry has assured Kenyans that all is well and that the proper measures have been put in place to prevent a repeat of what happened last week.
First, let me start with the assurance that we have enough power
Who should take the blame following the power outage blackout witnessed in the country last week? These are some of the questions that still seek answers. All eyes set on the Kenya Kwanza government. Mavin Getembe, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Thank you, Getembe, for the report. Moving on, the National Dialogue Committee has today agreed to prioritize the reconstitution of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, and its deliberations. While leader Kalonzo Musyoka, who is the leader of the delegation of Azimio One Kenya Coalition, said the committee will first deal with the electoral justice and related matters. According to a statement issued by the committee on Wednesday, the panel had listed 5 broader issues for discussion. Stanley Lugaria brings us this report.
The National Dialogue Committee on Friday met to prioritize key issues in the 5-point agenda as captured by the Technical Committee. The committee has agreed to deal with the most pressing matters, the first issue being the electoral justice reforms and political parties amendments, outstanding constitutional matters, entrenchment of funds into the constitution, establishment and entrenchment of the state offices, and finally fidelity to political parties and safeguarding of multi-party democracy in that succeeding order.
Kenyans understanding the urgency of that matter, the issues to do with outstanding constitutional issues under Article 43 of the Constitution, the issue of the political parties management in the country, and the other issues as were listed.
Led by Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka and Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah, the committee has agreed to meet again on 11th September after a rigorous public participation process as gazetted on Friday.
I've also noticed in today's print media the advertisement for, or the announcement for receipt of memoranda from stakeholders and from Kenyans is already out, and we do expect that in the next few days Kenyans will be submitting their memoranda to the National Dialogue Committee. Our technical team and our secretariat will be working the whole of next week to allow them time to receive this memoranda from the members of the public, as they also put together the issues as prioritized for discussion by the National Dialogue Committee that will be reconvening again on the 11th of September. That is next Monday but 1.
Ichung'wah now says the National Dialogue Committee has already shared 2 letters with the electoral body IEBC for its consideration and inclusion in the reconstitution process, as it is poised to receive memoranda submissions from the public.
We have, in view of that, sent out 2 letters also, as we have agreed to the IEBC selection panel, as we indicated, to just take judicial notice of the issue that they are handling, that we are also handling on the reconstitution of the IEBC Commission. We have concurrently also written to the multi-sectoral working group on the realization of the 2/3 gender rule.
Kalonzo has called on the public to ensure submissions are aligned to those by the Dialogue Committee, who are set to keenly interrogate and embrace those tied to the topical agenda.
Just to tell Kenyans, the time is now. Our work is cut out. We expect that you now take your responsibility and give out the memoranda, because without the memoranda, our work then will be kind of stranded. We know the interest the country has in this process, and we are all set to go. Kimani has just said that the number 1 item as prioritized is IBC. The correct wording is electoral justice. And if you look at it, IBC is number 2, so that we look at all the issues around electoral justice, including IBC, because of the urgency of the matter.
Bicameral houses have so far given a nod to the ongoing bipartisan talks, with the recent one to pass it to be constitutionally recognized being the Oversight House, after their National Assembly counterparts passed the motion tabled by Kimani Ichung'wah and Opiyo Wandayi to make the dialogues legally binding.
So beyond that, I think we are all set.
The National Dialogue Committee has reached a consensus on a 5-point agenda set to be the center stage of the ongoing bipartisan talks, and now says for the next 1 week is calling on the public to submit their memoranda. But even as the public continue to submit their memoranda, the committee now wants or calls on them to ensure that the memoranda submitted is tied around the 5-point agenda. Stanley Lugaria, Lookuptv, at the Bomas of Kenya, Nairobi.
Thank you, Lugaria. Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration Kithure Kindiki has issued a directive that has banned people from idling around NYAYO House precincts, stating that access to the facility will be limited to staff and passport applicants. The new measure is aimed at driving out brokers and eliminating bribery at government offices. The government also seeks to clean up the mess linked to delayed processing of passports.
For the second day, Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration Kithure Kindiki has visited NYAYO House to assess the implementation of operations, whereby he issued a directive banning idlers from hanging around the facility, stating that it will only be limited to staff and passport applicants.
So this morning I have come back. When I came yesterday, there was a crowd of people who were hanging around this place. And I'm happy to report our officers have implemented the directives we gave yesterday that no member of the public is supposed to stay within this facility if they have no business with the functions being offered here.
In recent days, the department has been under scrutiny due to the corruption, and as directed, law will be strictly enforced to anybody soliciting for bribes from applicants of passports.
Kuna wale bado wanafikiria hii ni sarakasi tu, ni mambo kidogo kidogo ya PR, hii kitu itaisha, tutarudi ile maisha tumezoea. Mimi nataka kuapa mbele yenu na mbele ya Wakenya, hakuna mtu atachukua hongo hapa tena. It is over. Nobody will come and do that monkey business here again.
As per the challenges faced by Kenyans when acquiring the crucial document, complaints have been published across all social media platforms, citing negligence in the department.
We will bring normalcy by first addressing the entire backlog, and once the backlog is completely removed, we will stick to the directive that I gave in February, which is every applicant of a passport must receive it within 7 working days.
On the issue of the backlog of 44,000 applications, Kindiki says the issue will be resolved within the next 14 days.
We are at the final end of processing additional staff. The Public Service Commission is doing the final procedures of interviews and then deployment. So until we get additional staff members, most likely the production is going to be in the same level, and that's why we were estimating, going by the speed that we are at, 14 days from now, the backlog will be over.
Kindiki also commended immigration officers who are diligently serving citizens and appealed for patience from applicants as they fix systematic challenges. Amin Abdurrahman, Lookuptv.
Now, President William Ruto has signed the Anti-Money Laundering and Combating of Terrorism Finance Laws Amendment Bill 2023 into law. And as Henry Tende now reports, the new law will help address deficiencies limiting the fight against money laundering and terrorism in the country.
The war on terrorism has been enhanced after President William Ruto today signed the Anti-Money Laundering and Combating of Terrorism Financing Laws Amendment Bill of 2023 into law. Apart from helping to address deficiencies limiting the fight against money laundering and terrorism in the country, it allows for the surrendering of a fugitive criminal who consents to be extradited to a requesting state. It also grants the Financial Reporting Center operational independence by excluding it from the definition of state corporation. Capital Markets Authority has been empowered to enforce the compliance of its licensees with the laws on anti-money laundering and combating terrorism financing and proliferation financing. Under the new development, the Insurance Regulatory Authority also has the power to enforce the compliance of its licensees with the laws on anti-money laundering and combating terrorism financing and proliferation financing. The Central Bank of Kenya, CBK, will supervise financial institutions and agents of reporting institutions, while the bill has included the laundering of proceeds of corruption under the definition of economic crime. President Ruto has also assented to the Climate Change Amendment Bill of National Assembly Bill number 42 of 2023, which was published in July. The bill amends the Climate Change Act of 2016, providing for the regulation of the carbon markets besides enhancing response to climate change. Henry Tende, Lookuptv.
And we are due for a very fast break here on the program. We take that break, but when we come back, so much more on the other side. Don't go too far.
Realize your home ownership dream by investing in Brookvale Tuala, a magnificent prime residential property located in Ongata, Rongai. Brookvale Tuala by Safaricom Investment Cooperative overlooks the majestic Ngong Hills and lies only 24 kilometers from Nairobi CBD. The project boasts of well-serviced plots with a perimeter wall, graded roads and a borehole. 50 by 100 plots are going for 1.4 million shillings with a flexible payment plan of up to 6 months. To book your plot, call 0729 121212 today. Safaricom Investment Cooperative, the investment partner of choice.
Infinity Industrial Park is one of the largest private industrial parks located along Eastern Bypass, Nairobi, which provides modern infrastructure for smooth operations for industries and business enterprises. Infinity Industrial Park offers world-class amenities and facilities with wide roads, a police station, a power substation, fire station, public transport stage, hospital, and shopping mall. In addition, Infinity Industrial Park also offers CCTV cameras, 24-hour private armed security patrol, sewer, water, fiber optic cable, and 3-phase power connection, added to public utility, canteen, and dining areas. Sail on the golden opportunity to invest in Infinity Industrial Park fully serviced warehouses at a special price of 3,569 Kenyan shillings per square foot. For more inquiries, visit our website infinityindustrialpark.com.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. This is Look Up Weekend. I'm Nancy Nalima. Sign language interpreter for tonight is Felista Adundo. Let's continue. President William Ruto now says that Africa must stop being the continent that falls victim to climate change effects. Speaking at the opening of the Africa Climate Summit in Nairobi, Ruto said it is time for the continent's approach to climate change is relooked. He said Africa will use all that is at disposal to make sure the continent is not on the decision-making table.
This gathering marked a turning point, a moment.
African youth have been called upon to stand tall and be counted in the fight against climate change. The president reiterated that seeing youth lead the climate agenda at ACS is important because they hold the keys to the present and the future.
To turn this vision into reality, Africa's youth is front and center. I eagerly anticipate learning from you about the ongoing initiatives and innovations, as well as the support you require. As we engage with various stakeholders and decision makers, it is crucial for us to understand what you and other youth across the globe need in order to shape and accelerate these opportunities. Let us now work on accommodating your dreams. An economic future painted green and brimming with boundless potential for collective climate action solutions. Your dreams of climate action are too vast to be contained. They command space, priority, financing, and scaling up. And I was very happy to listen.
Africa's youth are the continent's cheetah generation. You are techno and business savvy. You are change makers, defying the continent's stereotypes of hunger, war, famine, and begging bowls. That is why we are holding the African Youth Climate Assembly to cut and raise for the Africa Climate Summit so that you set the tempo for for this summit. A summit which is about change, a summit where we juxtapose Africa's climate solutions to the world with a clarion call. It is time for Africa.
Ruto said the continent will no longer play victim as it seeks to be at the forefront of issuing solutions to climate change.
That the continent of Africa must never continue to be the continent that is a victim to climate change, the continent that complains. And we have insisted that we are going to change the approach of the continent of Africa. We are going to be armed with our own ideas, with our own proposals, with our assets, and with everything that we have. And we are going to find our way to the table. And we are going to sit on that table and give our ideas and suggest our proposals and make sure that we are part of the solution, not just a victim.
Your Excellency, as we prepare for the Africa Climate Summit, the choices made here ripple across generations. The policies crafted now are going to determine the world we, the youth, inherit, and we urge you to seize the urgency, committing to sustainable development, renewable energy, and equitable resource access. And with your support, Africa can emerge as a climate-resilient hub of innovations.
The President was speaking as he officially opened the Africa Climate Summit at KICC, Nairobi.
And in the corridors of justice, a Nairobi court on Friday charged former Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero and 12 others for allegedly conspiring to defraud the Nairobi City County 58 million shillings. According to the charge sheet, Kidero and his co-accused allegedly committed the offense between January 6, 2014 and January 16, 2014. The accused were charged with several charges, including conspiracy to commit an offense of corruption, abuse of office, unlawful acquisition of public property, and money laundering. They all pleaded not guilty.
The particulars on 6th January 2014 in Nairobi, 6th January 2014 in Nairobi City County within the Republic of Kenya, being an accountant at the Nairobi City County, used your office to improperly confer a benefit of Kenya shillings 58 million on Wachira Mboro Mwangi and company advocates by unlawfully processing payment of the said amount. Is it true or false? As on 7th January 2014 in Nairobi City County within the Republic of Kenya, being a member of Parliament Embakasi Central and a former mayor City Council of Nairobi, unlawfully acquired public property to which Kenya shillings 8,900,000 from Stephen Kariuki Mboro, who is deceased, a partner with the law firm of Wachira Mboro Mwangi and company advocates, which monies were part of Kenya shillings 58 million and lawfully paid by the Nairobi City County to the said law firm. True or false?
And in the Nyanza region, the residents of Kambare Trading Center in Game are demanding a total overhaul of police officers in the area after thieves broke into their shops and stole their property. The police have been accused of failing to deal with cases after several theft cases in the area were reported. Some of the residents now claim that police officers are colluding with criminals to steal property.
Residents of Game have raised an alarm over the rising insecurity cases in the area. The residents are now calling on the government to intensify their efforts in ensuring that the residents are secured by making changes at the police stations in the area, who they claim that have been colluding with criminals.
Shangaza hapa Kambare ni wezi wanakuja kila siku na tukiripoti hatuoni action. Juzi waliiba huyu mama tena, ndio hiyo tena wamerudi, na jana ati walikuwa na patrol ati wamerudi late kitu saa 8 na ati wamepita hapa wamepata ati mlango ziko wazi, na siku wamepatrol lazima maduka ziibiwe. Sasa tujui nini inaendelea, na wanaogopa kusema watu hao wakipatrol wanaibiwa. Sisi tunasema hao wakipatrol maduka zinavunjwa. Juzi wamefanya hata huyu jirani ya huyu amehama ameenda huko. Kwa hiyo nini hiyo roho ya huko nyuma. Sasa saa hii tena tunataka tubadilishe mapolisi au maaskari watusaidie.
The residents are lamenting over what they term as police laxity in restoring peace and security. The residents are now calling on relevant security dockets to step up and beef up the area security.
Naomba serikali itafute mbinu igeuze hawa polisi. Wengine ni wazuri, wengine hatuwezi jua vile wako, lakini tunaongea nao vizuri. But mambo ambayo yanafanyika hapa usiku yanatuhuzunisha na yanatuogopesha, yanafanya tuhofia hao polisi wetu. Walinzi wengine wamekuwa wakiuliwa, wakipigwa, mpaka sasa walinzi kuandika, wengine tukijaribu kuandika wanaogopa kwa sababu wamekuwa wakipigiwa mpaka hapa. Hata hizo villages zingine, hizo centers zingine wamekuwa wakivamiwa. Sasa kuandika kwa ajili walinzi inakuwa ni vigumu kwa sababu wanasema hata wakipiga kelele polisi hawatokei.
Faith Bonareri, Lookuptv.
Thank you, Bonareri. Now the Senate Committee on Education has hit the Ministry of Education over what it says special schools and staff dealing with disabled minors. The committee noted that for over 5 years, the ministry had failed to review capitation fees for the special schools that hosted thousands of minors across the country.
Well, colleagues, we have Jonathan removed our fiscal analyst.
Senator Joseph Nyotu met senior officers from the ministry to shed light on challenges facing the institutions. The Muranga senator termed as unfair treatment meted to special needs schools by the ministry, which received the lion's share of government's annual budget.
This is a matter that we should address. We should move with the times. But we all know that the allocation that has been made generally to the Minister of Education this year, 2023-2024, is actually, they got the lion's share. And so we also saying that the ministry, in its internal allocation.
Addressing the press on the sidelines of the meeting in Lake Naivasha Resort, Nyotu noted that the ratio of caregivers to students was also wanting.
One thing we do not want to hear as a committee is any funding proposal that proposes that a parent pays. You heard them say 9,500 for some category of learners with special needs. You know, some of these parents actually don't do anything that can earn them anything. Because some of them, especially mothers, the only thing they do is to take care of these children.
Nominated Senator Peris Tobiko noted that a 2018 proposal by the ministry to have the capitation funds to the schools reviewed was never submitted to the cabinet for approval. The director of higher education, Darius Mogaka, told the committee that the presidential task force on education reforms had made its recommendations on the capitation fees.
Some of the equipments used by these learners with disability are very expensive. We are told the braille is around over 100,000. You know, and so it is important that it reflects the children with autism need a lot of equipments to distract them, to engage them. They need, you know, caregivers almost like one-on-one basis.
The Deputy Director Special Needs Education, Abdi Moulia Abdi, admitted that capitation funds to the schools had been delayed, but this had since been sorted.
The recommendation of the Working Party is that there will be a minimum essential package over and above what is being calculated based on the enrollment. And I believe going forward with the adoption of the recommendations of the Working Party, then some of those issues that are coming up will be addressed. And on behalf of the Director of Special Needs Education, as a ministry we commit to address all those outstanding issues. And we don't have any policy of discrimination of any child. The circumstances and the logistics of getting the capitation to schools may be facing challenges, but that is already being ironed out, and we'll be able to deal with it accordingly.
Brian Amoy, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
And Turkana County Government, in partnership with other organizations, has initiated activities to motivate young people join technical colleges. This is as a way to create employment for the youth. Beatrice Njoroge with this report and more in our counters.
Hii kampeni ya Form ni TVET tunafanya katika kaunti nzima ya Turkana.
Employment for the youths in Kenya has been a subject of debate for a while. To bridge the gap, Turkana County Government has launched activities that are aimed at motivating the youths to join technical colleges, as those dropping out of schools have been encouraged to continue with their education all the way through tertiary institutions.
Unakupeana pesa za wanafunzi inaitwa SYPT, ni grant. Na hiyo grant kwa kila mwanafunzi ni 15,000 kwa kila mwanafunzi.
Also in Embu County, Mbere North MP Godfrey Ruku has slammed the CS of Labour for failure to implement Inua Jamii plan properly. Ruku complained that one tablet phone is not enough to register more than 1,000 elderly from this area.
If you are not landed to work for the people of the Republic of Kenya, please resign and go home. It is not possible that we are here with more than 1,000 old people, over 70 years people, who want to be registered to this government program. But you only have one tablet and only 2 officers from your ministry. And we expect this process of registering the vulnerable, registering those who are over 70 years, registering the orphans, to be done in a smooth manner. It is impossible. It's a tedious process. Please get a budget to get more tablets.
And in Kisii County, Governor Simba Arati has sounded a warning to corruption activities in the county, exposing a syndicate that is stealing construction equipment meant for government projects.
Trailer nyingi zetu zimepelekwa, zimechemshwa, zinatengenezwa chuma za kujenga magorofa na madaraja.
Beatrice Njoroge, Lookuptv.
Let's get sport here, shall we? Cabinet Secretary for Youth Affairs, Arts and Sports, Babu Namwamba, hosted the President, William Ruto, to preside over cash award ceremony for the hero and heroines of the World Championship Games in Budapest. Over 43 million was disbursed to the Kenyan superstars, led by gold winners Faith Kipyegon and Mary Moraa, among others. The President also led the unveiling of the Talanta Plaza, which will be the headquarters of the Ministry of Sports, Culture and the Arts, Sports Fund, Sports Federation, as well as the National Olympic Committee of Kenya offices.
21,600,000 shillings. And we have Faith Kipyegon, who won 2 gold medals, receives 4 million Kenya shillings. Mary Moraa receives 2 million Kenya shillings. Daniel Simiyu, for silver medal, they win 1.5 million Kenya shillings each.
And the Premier League trophy has made a significant comeback to its Kenyan enthusiast fan base for an unforgettable experience courtesy of Castrol, the official Premier League partner. The Premier League is a source of great pride for most Kenyan fans, and this will be an opportunity to witness the trophy up close at the Carnival Grounds tomorrow, with legendary Nigerian player JJ Okocha in attendance. Rubis CEO Gian Christian said they have started a 12-week promotion starting tomorrow, dubbed Twende London, that will see Kenyans who buy Rubis lubricants stand a chance to win a trip to London to watch a Premier League game, jerseys, airtime, lubricants, among other prizes. He added that the company's other initiative is to sponsor Kenyan local clubs such as Kibra Blacksters.
We are doing a lot and we are going to continue. For instance, we have a couple of initiatives like sponsoring the Kibera Black Star. It's a 5 years sponsorship, but obviously we are keen to continue. We are supporting events like Girls Run when we are promoting the girls through sport. The Twende London Castrol is a promotion that will be available at all Rubis gas stations and also in many shops.
And the 5th ELDOCITY Marathon, which will be held on October 1st, aims to incorporate local athletes who have never participated in international games. Local organizers, led by Boston Marathon winner Moses Tenue, will direct the race, say they have received sponsorship from the Emirates royal family, with assurance of total support for the race. The first 10 athletes will be awarded, with winners in both men's and women's categories receiving 3.5 million shillings each.
All of us to work together and make this ELDOCITY Marathon a marathon of lifetime. I did Boston Marathon 100 years in 1996. So from 96 till today is about 27, 28 years. So Boston Marathon is old as 128 years.
And SHABANAFC managed to secure a 1-1 draw with FC Talanta in the FKF Premier League Round 2 match at NYAYO Stadium today. Both teams failed to find the back of the net in the first half of the match. However, there was a change in the second half, with both sides striving to gain the upper hand. In the 90th minute, Kevington Machika's opening goal gave FC Talanta the lead, but their hopes were soon killed by the equalizer by Justin Omwando from SHABANAFC to end with a 1-1 score.
SHABANAFC managed to secure a 1-1 draw against FC Talanta in their FKF League Round 2 match at NYAYO National Stadium today. Both teams failed to find back of the net in the first half of the match. However, there was a change in the second half, with both sides striving to gain the upper hand. In the 90th minute, Kevington Machika opening goal gave Talanta the leading, but their hopes were soon killed with the equalizer by Justin Omwando from Shabana to end the game 1-1.
I said early they were fighting also to win, and we are fighting to win. It was so unfortunate that we drew the game. The outcome, you know, before we played the match, both teams, we are all winners. It's only 90 minutes, it determines the game. I'm okay with that draw. Let me plan now to get the win for the coming match.
Ijakuwa rahisi kwa pande yote, chances zimekuwa ni chache, lakini at least tulikuwa nataka baada ya kulose angalau kupata point ingekuwa mbaya. Ingawa dakika mwisho tumeshangaa sana kuona vile tumeconcede. Ijakuwa kwa njia nzuri. Last match tuliconcede mwisho tena leo. So bado kuna kazi ya kurekebisha, but nashukuru tumepata point moja, tumekomboa kupata nafuu.
Reporting for Lookuptv, I'm Brian Mose.
And with that sporting action, we conclude our business here on Look Up Weekend. But let me sample some of your feedback across Facebook. John Obworo says, good. Thank you so much. Quincy Akado says, watching from Nairobi. And Sam says, watching from Mombasa. Pablo Moja, watching from Ruto. A very loyal viewer right there. I don't know what prize we can give you. We will talk to management. But we appreciate you for watching. Keep it right here on Lookuptv. And to catch other stories that are breaking, www.lookuptv.co.ke is where you can be updated 24/7. I am Nancy Nalima. Our sign language interpreter has been Felista Adundo. Have yourselves a beautiful weekend. Have fun and take care. See you next time. Goodbye.
We value your feedback and welcome your complaints about our programming and operations. Feel free to get in touch with us through